Dreaming Spanish and Refold Method are two of the most popular input-based methods for learning Spanish right now. While both can get you fluent, this video will explain how each of them works and how to choose which one to follow if you're trying to learn Spanish in 2024. Dreaming Spanish method is focused on providing the learner with lots of comprehensible input. Dreaming Spanish's website has thousands of videos all in Spanish at different difficulty levels and allows you to filter for topics, teachers, or dialects and sort by difficulty, length, and other metrics. When you are watching DS videos, you are supposed to choose videos where you're able to understand the overall message, though not necessarily all of the words. And if you're watching a video that you can't follow along with, you're supposed to save it for later and find an easier video. At the start, you will be exclusively watching super beginner level videos, which use pictures and gestures to make them comprehensible even for someone who knows zero Spanish. You will gradually learn the vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation naturally, and over time you will be able to watch and understand progressively more difficult videos until you reach a point where you can watch content intended for native Spanish speakers like TV shows and movies and still understand it. Dreaming Spanish is centered around a roadmap that tells you which videos you should be watching when, and the website automatically tracks how much time you spend. To follow the DS method, you simply watch the Dreaming Spanish videos that correspond to your ability level. The Dreaming Spanish method doesn't require you to do anything except watch Dreaming Spanish videos for the first 1,000 hours. Over that time, you will go from watching super beginner videos to intermediate videos and finally to advanced videos. The Dreaming Spanish method advises against looking up unknown words, using subtitles, practicing speaking, or doing any intentional study of grammar or vocabulary. All you do is watch the DS videos and enjoy them. After 600 hours, you can start reading, engaging with native media, and having conversations with native speakers if you want, though once you have received 1,000 hours of input, it is recommended you start doing these. By the end of the roadmap, you will reach a point of functional fluency in the language where you can consume native level content and converse with native speakers. If you desire to reach a higher level of proficiency, you simply continue to receive input. The Refold method takes a different approach. With Refold, you consume target language content intended for native speakers from the very beginning, which will be almost entirely incomprehensible to you, and you're supposed to use a wide variety of tools, apps, and study practices to make the content comprehensible. As you consume more content, the native content that once was incomprehensible will gradually become comprehensible. The content stays at native level the entire time, you just get more accustomed to it as you learn. In comparison to Dreaming Spanish, Refold method recommends you use flashcards and subtitles, advises you to look up unknown words, and even the plot of the content you're going to watch before you watch it. You are also supposed to study the pronunciation and basic grammar structures of your target language. With Refold method, learners utilize a mix of free flow immersion, which is where you watch something without thinking about it and just focus on enjoying it, and intensive immersion, which is where you stop and deliberately study parts of the speech that you don't understand as you are watching a piece of content to try to extract everything you can from it. Refold recommends you pick a certain domain to start with so that you can encounter a slightly narrower set of vocabulary and come into contact with words used in that content at a higher frequency. Common options to start are slice of life shows or family dramas. Eventually, when you reach a point where you can consume content in that domain with a high, almost perfect level of understanding, you expand to other domains. Refold's website has an extremely detailed guide that lays out its recommendations at every step of the process, and if you work through that guide, you will absolutely reach functional fluency. I think the beauty of the DS method is that it is simple. Each day you go onto the DS website and you watch videos. That's it. Everything you need to learn Spanish is in one place. The website automatically tracks how much you watched and provides a guide that tells you exactly which videos you should be watching at what point. It is an all-in-one package. The Dreaming Spanish videos are relatively entertaining, and I found the DS guides to be really likable personalities who I genuinely enjoy watching. Another benefit of DS is that you don't need to worry about studying. You don't need to use flashcards and never need to memorize or even think about grammar. You just watch the videos. Another benefit of DS is that you can follow DS method for totally free. There is a premium option for $8 a month, but the only difference between free and premium is the amount of content available, though I definitely recommend premium if you can afford it. However, the DS method isn't perfect. Some people don't find the guides entertaining, which I can understand would make it difficult to stomach watching them for hundreds of hours. Another complaint I've heard is that some people don't enjoy watching the super beginner or beginner level videos, which tend to be a little bit simplistic. This personally wasn't my experience, as I enjoyed them a lot simply for the fact that I was watching stuff in Spanish and understanding it, but if you don't enjoy them, it might be hard to sit through enough of it to get past the early levels. Another con of DS is the lack of diversity in the guides, both in race and nationality, but also in overall personality and background. At the moment, there are hundreds of hours of videos made by guides from Spain, Mexico, and Argentina, but basically no beginner content from Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Dominican Republic, and other less popular Spanish dialects, which is unfortunate for the many people hoping to learn one of those dialects. DS will still help you get past the beginner phase and get you to a point where you can start watching content in your target dialect, but it would be nice for DS to bring speakers of some of those less popular dialects directly onto the platform. Lastly, Dreaming Spanish doesn't really engage with writing at all. It gets you to a point of functional fluency where you can speak and understand the language, but doesn't really provide any specifics on how to learn to write properly in Spanish. For people who are learning Spanish to talk with others, that likely won't be a huge issue and can be addressed once you are functionally fluent, but it's not part of the DS method. With Refold Method, you can consume whatever content you want from the start. People obsessed with a certain TV show or some other piece of content can focus on that and let their motivation drive them. The process is more customizable, and you have essentially infinite control and ownership over what you watch and learn and how you do it. Refold Method can also be followed for completely free. They do sell vocab decks and a course, but these are totally optional. I personally used their Anki deck with the 1000 most popular Spanish words and found it to be well made and helpful. Another benefit of the Refold method is it can be used to learn any language, not just Spanish, while Dreaming Spanish is, at least for now, exclusively for people learning Spanish. Some cons of the Refold method are that the Refold method requires you to take more control over your learning, which I guess is both a pro and a con. You might need to learn how to use new programs like browser extensions and apps, and you will need to be diligent about finding content that you want to watch. Additionally, you will need to study, though whether that's a pro or con depends on you. I know some people enjoy studying grammar and pronunciation. Lastly, if you don't have a high enough tolerance for ambiguity, you might find it frustrating or even impossible to pay attention to content that is completely incomprehensible. So, which should you choose? Both of these methods will get you fluent if you follow them for a long enough period of time. There are plenty of people who have used each to reach fluency, and the choice between them depends less on your goal and more on how you want to feel throughout the learning journey. For people who want a simpler and easier process with a little more hand-holding and no studying, you should go with Dreaming Spanish. If you watch some of the DS videos and enjoy the guides and like the ease of having it all be on one platform that automatically tracks your progress, DS is perfect. For people who have a higher tolerance for ambiguity, who want to take a more active approach in setting up their language learning process, who enjoy studying grammar, or who want to jump right into watching native content, the Refold method is perfect. However, you can also do whatever you want. You can watch Dreaming Spanish videos while following the Refold method. You can employ some techniques recommended by the Refold method while mostly following the Dreaming Spanish method. And you can use the Dreaming Spanish website to track your progress while not watching the videos if you don't want to. The most important thing, really the only thing that matters if you're trying to learn Spanish in 2024, is that you spend lots and lots of time consuming content in Spanish. I hope this video was helpful, and feel free to ask any questions or tell me about your experience with these methods in the comments.